dude.
I love it, man.
Let's see. Yeah, dude. We're here. We are fucking here. There's just outside. We've got all the cars rolling out. We got the race car is ready. She's
I
it's
love
like
that, man.
it's go time, dude. It's go
What's the
time.
race tomorrow?
The race is tomorrow morning.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah. Let's see, let me find a bucket to sit on. Here's the deal, dude. Like, I thought your name was Sumo forever.
Well, that's usually the goal.
I was like, who's that? Like, that's Sumo. I was like, bullshit.
He's a real person sometimes.
That's a real human. All right. Okay, dude. Let's put you on this bucket. I could sit down for a second. Sat down real hard.
Hey, it happens.
Okay. Hopefully you're recording this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Everyone needs some outtakes.
I'll give them to you. All right, dude. Now you got the suits. This is official.
Hey, we're good to go.
All right.
You ready, man?
Yeah. Got a Coors Light. Let's fucking go.
Join me, Jeremy Swick, on Into the Unknown, a podcast that delves into the personal journeys, stories, and experiences of individuals across diverse professions. As a historian by trade, I firmly believe that our personal histories shape our present and offer valuable insights into our paths ahead. With that being said, let's get into it. On this episode of Into the Unknown, I am joined with a very special guest, Ian Lehn. How you doing today, brother?
Doing good, Sumo. It took me long enough to get on here, buddy. I was waiting for this phone call for a long time.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you taking the time, man. It's I know you're a busy guy, as everyone can see in the background.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit of. I always got time for you, big guy.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Man, so I like to kick off the show, talk about networking, how important it is. How do we know each other, man?
I mean, rugby. It's the best networking sport in the world. Yeah. I mean, we played together for Atlanta Old White when we made the national championship run and came up 2 points short. I still got that silver medal in the bottom of a drawer somewhere, but it was still a hell of a ride. And been in a lot of weddings with those teammates, and I'm sure a lot of them will be at my wedding. I know you'll be there. So I mean, no, dude, rugby networking. That's where we met. That's where I meet everybody.
Man, rugby, I always tell people, man, it's like the great connector. You really are so close to literally like everyone on the planet, especially in the rugby world. You're only a few people off from knowing literally the entire country in rugby.
Entire country, entire world. I mean, how many times have you traveled abroad and bumped into somebody because you were wearing a jacket that said, AOW rugby or something RFC? I mean, yeah.
It is one of those great connectors, bro. Man, first of all, we just got to know, what are you doing right now? Where are you?
Okay. This all started at Thanksgiving with a bourbon-fueled argument with my old man. We wanted to settle who was the better racer. He has an old Ferrari, older. Well, it's 2001. It's old now, and I have a 1969 Ford Mustang. And I said, well, let's settle it. There's this race out in West Texas called the Big Bend Open Road Race, and we had 5 months to prepare for it, and that's what we're doing. So we're calling it the Battle of Big Bend, and yeah, it's a 60-mile race from Fort Stockton to Sanderson, and then 60 miles back, top speed, as fast as you can go, kind of thing. And we're gonna see if I can keep a 60-year-old car together that high speed. We'll see. This might be my last interview.
Hey man, I'll make sure I do it well if it is.
Play this as my eulogy.
Man, so I like to jump in and just what's your origin story? Think comic book issue number one. Who are you, man? How'd you get started?
You know, with it rugby or racing or what I'm doing now or
How
how'd I
about
get my
life? How about
superpowers?
life into rugby, into racing, into what you're doing now?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I guess if I were to start it anywhere, I'd start it in Atlanta. I'm from Ohio. I went to Georgia Tech. Played football there for a little bit. Got hurt. Realized I was never going to be good enough to play in NFL, and I learned about I learned about rugby, and I met Rennie Daniel, who's the coach for USA South, and or he was the coach for Georgia Tech at the time. Now he's the coach for USA South, and started playing rugby and started building that network like you talked about. Lifelong friends that some of them, believe it or not, drove all the way to West Texas. One of them on a Harley from Ohio. Um, and then from there, man, I mean, graduating, I was able to start my business, which was in race fuels, and just been kind of doing that ever since. And rugby's never been really too far away. I'm still playing, probably not that well anymore, to be honest. Like my knees, and I'm out of shape, and I like to drink beer all the time. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of what has given me my comic book superpowers are, all the cool friends that I have, rugby and racing and all that, folks like yourself that are doing cool stuff like this that I finally get to get on with.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. What got you into racing? You started the company you mentioned, and what brought you to racing, or what got you interested in that area specifically?
Oh, I mean, I grew up racing, doing different stuff, karting, and then a little bit of motocross and stuff like that. And then when I went to Georgia Tech, I joined something called Formula SAE, where you build a race car basically for class and go racing. But on the side, I was racing a car for fun for SCCA, but race fuel's expensive. And I was going into my final year at Georgia Tech, and kind of realized I couldn't afford buying race fuel, and I needed a senior exit thesis. So I was like, maybe I can make my own, and I ended up doing that, and just kind of blended it in my garage for me and my buddies for a few years, and then it became more than just me and my buddies, and I was like, wow, maybe I should try to do this for a career, and here I am, sweating in West Texas, about to go race.
Man, I love that, man. I think it brings into my next question, kind of, on your journey, you take a chance, you can go east, you can go west, you make a decision and just go for it, man. Can you give me a time you did that?
Oh, well, what a lot of people don't know, I think a lot of people in this industry, at least in the racing community, think like Ian raced his whole life, came out of college knowing he was going to get into the industry and do all this stuff. And that was absolutely not the case. Um, when I graduated at Georgia Tech, I moved to Panama, the country of Panama, not Panama City Beach. I don't think I could live there. I lived in a small country town called Guadalajara in Panama, and I was a farmer for about 5 years, and I grew watermelon. I was testing some post harvest technology, and bought a farm and had a horse that I used to ride around on to work because I couldn't afford a truck. And I had a little one bedroom house. Um, but it was still good. It was really cool. It sent me all over the world. But I was coming back to the U.S. a lot. I was missing my family, and I was making more of this BOOSTane stuff. And I kind of had a established business in Central America, and I realized that I had to make a decision if I was going to do this BOOSTane thing for real. And it was freaky because I didn't, it was completely unknown. Why would you leave a completely okay, doing well business, and kind of start over for no reason other than you miss all your friends and family, and and you feel like this might be your path, and kind of took a leap and moved back to the U.S. And to be completely honest, I leaned really hard on said network. I put a lot of money in Panama and didn't get it all back, which happens in business, being an entrepreneur sometimes. So when I really started the business, I was working out of a buddy's warehouse for a long time, and it was a rugby guy from Florida. I mean, hell, my new warehouse is a partnership with another rugby friend from Florida. Like, there's a lot of everything in my storyline at this point has some callback to rugby. Um, I like how the camera just zoomed out to get a
Right?
wonderful crotch. Uh, hopefully that helps the ratings. But no, man. I mean, yeah, that was scary because I had no idea what was going to happen. I already had 5 years into it. I was like, I'm starting over, and luckily I had a bunch of really good people around me, and I had like a soft landing, which was, if I was on my own, I don't think I could have did it. But I had a lot of people saying, "Yeah, we got your back." So I got a lot of that going for me. That was cool.
Yeah, man. I think it's so important to have people that actually support you. And I realize, man, you've traveled, lived all over the world, and I think one of the things is knowing that you have people that have your back. I think makes decisions like that a lot easier to do because man, there's going to be people that are going to support you. Maybe they're not there every day, you don't see them all the time, but I think at least in your case, man, there's a lot of people that like cheer you on, maybe quietly from the sidelines if they don't talk to you, day to day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, you've had a good. I mean, you've had a wild ride too. I mean, like, I don't. I think you would agree with me that having that community of like good people around you, it makes things a lot easier. Gives you a lot more confidence. I always kind of joke. it- It's easy to go into a crowded bar with a bunch of rugby buddies because nobody's gonna mess with you. It gives you a little too much confidence. But I guess to go back to that analogy, it's kind of the same thing for life in a lot of ways. I probably have a little bit too much confidence in things because I know that I've got some people that are going to help me pull it off, even if I bite off more than I can chew.
Man, I love that outlook. It literally is so true though, because I think when you have that network and that support system, you feel like you can do anything or at least try it. And if it doesn't work, you still got the same buddies that can remind you that it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, that same network will bring you back down to reality too. It's not all, it's not all blowing smoke. I've had plenty of people say, "Dude, back it down a little bit."
I love it, man. So, Into the Unknown, title of the podcast. What are you working on now, man? What do you got going on more in general, but also like physically, like right now?
I think for us right now, when I think of kind of the unknown that I'm working on at the moment, um, for BOOSTane, a lot of things are happening in the world right now around internal combustion engines and electric vehicles and things like that. And I think it's a pretty divisive conversation that people are having right now. You're either one camp or the other, and like BOOSTane's not a big company, but we're trying to help bridge that gap between EV and the typical internal combustion engine as you would see in any car driving around today. We're developing some synthetic fuel that's made from greenhouse gas reclamation and other renewable sources that will go right in any vehicle that has an engine. Um, but it's sustainable, so the carbon footprint has something very similar to an electric vehicle, and it goes in vehicles today. So actually, next week I'll be flying to DC to lobby with some of our congressmen, to try to get some support around further research and development for that. So it's a you know I don't know the politics side of things very well, so that's going to be very unknown for me. Um, but it's going to be pretty exciting because I think it's a fight, and I hate calling it a fight, but I think it's a fight that needs to kind of be had, or at least stood up for. So that's going to be pretty exciting. That's kind of career standpoint. Personal standpoint, I probably need to pull the trigger on getting hitched at some point. I've got a really cool girl that follows me to all this stuff. She hasn't ever piped up, even though I drag her out into the middle of the desert, make her stand in the heat. There's no air conditioning in any of the race cars, so yeah, that's probably one I need to check off the list. That's going to be an unknown as well. So
Man, that is exciting, man. I'm proud of you, man. It's really cool to see all the cool things you're doing. It's funny, man. Like rugby, bro. We haven't really talked. We haven't seen each other in a couple years, but it literally doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like we've been talking,
yeah,
nonstop since whenever
yeah,
we last saw each other, which is just so cool, man.
it feels like we're at 5 paces right now, just hanging out.
Just hanging out, man. Watching Woodsy do something reprehensible.
Watching Woodsy do something, watching Jared, watching Shore. Yeah, yeah, same guys, same dudes. I don't think we'll ever change. I
Nope.
mean, as soon as I knew I was doing this podcast with you, I was like, well, I'm gonna go grab a beer. I'm gonna hang out with Sumo for a little bit.
You gotta, man. You gotta. I gotta ask. Do you have a favorite rugby memory or a top one or two?
Mm, you know, the national championship thing was wild. Uh, Traveling with USA South to Europe and playing against Hungary and the Czech Republic and Austria is way up there, probably like one or two. But I would say it constantly goes back and forth between that one and the East Championship where who was it?
The
Who pushed that
Doylestown?
in? Yeah, we played Doylestown. And who ran that in at the end? It was Luca.
I think so.
Luca pushed it in at the end, and I was like, "It's crazy."
Oh,
And the funniest part about that is the guy on the scrummy for Doylestown was my fraternity little brother from Georgia Tech. We started playing rugby together for Rennie Daniel, and we were playing against each other. We went out and did the coin toss together, and it was just like, what are the chances? Full circle. So playing against him, beating him, oh, dude, it was nuts. I think we went pretty hard when we got back to Atlanta as well.
oh yeah,
So
man.
that's where the memory kind of stops. Is right after the win. But
Oh,
no,
100%.
that's way up there.
Man,
But
that
yeah,
was that was just such a fun experience, and going to Ohio, you had like a fan bus that followed you to Ohio. If I'm
yeah, dude. Had a big old bus show up with all my family members all screaming at me. My brother-in-law like had a little had a little bit to drink on the way up, so he's like heckling the other guys. And it's kind of funny because we really don't do that in rugby. Like we don't heckle the other team. We'll fight them on the field,
oh, absolutely.
but we'll have a beer to the man. But football, baseball, a lot of my family doesn't really know rugby a whole lot, so they were all like heckling the other team, and I was like, this is kind of funny. It's just not really what we do, but yeah, they came up there. And what's funny is I moved to Columbus not long after that, and I had to practice at that field for 2 years playing for Columbus's side, and it hurt every time
Yeah, man.
showing up to that field at Obets. I was like, this sucks. This sucks. Shut up, Dan. I have a rugby buddy here who wants to make fun of me right now. He's from Naples, and
Okay,
Atlanta beat me in the playoff a long time ago as well.
I
So
love it. I love it, man.
yeah,
So if people want to learn more about your business and all that good stuff, where can they find you?
go to BOOSTane.com. Yeah, just go to BOOSTane.com or check us out on Instagram. I think it's BOOSTane Official. Really good social media part.
And man, I'll
Yeah,
make sure to
check
link.
that out. You'll see me doing pretty much dumb stuff on all of it. This week it'll be pretty crazy. I don't know when things gonna come out, but we're gonna be posting about this race. We'll be live streaming. So.
I love it, man. My plan is to have this out next Thursday, so we're good to go. I'm gonna
We'll have,
need a video from you saying who won, who
we'll have
determined that race.
we'll have results. Sure.
Well, man,
Oh no.
before you
Yeah.
go, I just want to say I appreciate you, man. It's been great to get to know you over the years, and I wish you luck, man. It's been cool, man.
Thanks, buddy. It's good catching up, man. It takes too long. We need to do this more often.
Sure,
It
man.
doesn't need to be, not all of our conversations need to be recorded. So
Exactly, man. The many that probably shouldn't, or I'm glad they're not.
exactly.
Hey, man, before you go, if you want to take me a quick round a little bit to kind of show
Oh
what
yeah,
you're
dude.
doing, man.
Yeah. So got the race suits for our team. Got the old man's whatever this. How do I? Jesus. You'd think I was intelligent, but not. Those are the race suits, and then we've got the racer trucks over there. But this is the girl, the old 69 that'll be that we'll be winning this race with. So we'll see how it goes, to say the least.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, man,
I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna let you go. You know, it was great talking to you, man.
All right, man. I'll look out for it. It's out on Thursday, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, dude.
Yep. See you, man. That was another fun episode of Into the Unknown. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen. And if it provides you any value or entertainment, I would love if you shared it with others, liked, subscribed, and really just help the podcast grow. Again, tell a friend, tell a foe, just anyone who might enjoy hearing some stories of people's own journeys and what got them to where they are today. Till next time.